ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರವೇ ನಮಃ. ಶ್ರುತಿಸ್ಮೃತಿಪುರಾಣಾನಾಂ ಆಲಯಂ ಕರುಣಾಲಯಂ ನಮಾಮಿ ಭಗವತ್ಪಾದಶಂಕರಂ ಲೋಕಶಂಕರಂ ಶಂಕರಂ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯಂ ಕೇಶವಂ ಬಾದರಾಯಣಂ ಸೂತ್ರಭಾಷ್ಯಕೃತೌ ವಂದೇ ಭಗವಂತೌ ಪುನಃ ಪುನಃ. ನಮಾಮಿ ಗೌಡಪಾದಂಚ ಶಂಕರಂ ಶ್ರೀ ಸುರೇಶ್ವರಂ ಸ್ವಾಮಿನಂ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದಮಿಂದ್ರಂ ತಂ ಜ್ಞಾನರೂಪಿಣೇ. we were discussing in Sugama Adhyasam puraskritya tametam avidyākhyam Adhyasam puraskritya sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha. That is the point. Sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha laukikaha vaidikascha pravruttaha. All the pramanas come into usage. All the pramanas come into pravrutta, not existence. Nodi. Not come into existence, come into usage. They come to be used. They are seen to be. That's all we can say. Ekandre pravruttaha, he says, not vidyante. He doesn't say that they exist. Pramanas come to be seen. That's all. They are found. Pravruttaha, they are found to be functioning, operating. Pramanas are found to be operating, working. Tametam adhyasam puraskritya. That means within the adhyasa pramanas are there. The pramana vyavahara. See, 2 points. Adhyasa, pramana, vyavahara. 2 points. Adhyasa and pramana vyavahara. So pramana vyavahara, when we say pramana itself is a vyavahara, this is the defect of the language, the limitation of the very language. Now the pramanas, vyavahara of the pramana, it doesn't mean that there are pramana and we are using them. Vyavahara means using them. It's not that there are pramanas and we are using. Pramanas are pramanas only when they are under usage. Pramanas are pramana only when they are functioning. The very pramana is a functioning state. Without functioning, there is no pramana. Okay. Second thing is, this pramana is a vyavahara due to adhyasa. This pramana vyavahara, the functioning of pramanas is due to adhyasa. Due to adhyasa, when we say, we shouldn't think that there is adhyasa and within adhyasa there is a vyavahara. It's not like that. The very vyavahara is adhyasa. Adhyasa and vyavahara are not two. That means there seems to be a vyavahara. The seeming vyavahara itself is a appearance, false appearance. That I am a karta, that I am a jnata, and pramata, pramana, prameya, they are only appearances. You only feel that I am a pramata, using pramana and seeing something, an object. All these things are only appearances, or within appearance alone these are found. Like in dream objects are very appearances. You can't say dream objects exist during the appearance of dream. The very appearance is dream. Dream is appearance. Therefore, dream objects are only appearances. The very status of dream objects is only appearance. Beyond the appearance, they have no existence. Appearance means They appear, you use them, all that put together. Because the vyavahara is a very difficult word to translate. Therefore, the appearance, using them, and also the effect it produces, all that put together is one vyavahara. Transactional field. So the entire dream is only a transaction. So the transaction is the only thing, other than that it doesn't exist. It doesn't have anything. And the very transaction itself is due to a misunderstanding of Brahman, not seeing the Chaitanyam Atma as Chaitanya Atma, but seeing it as something else. That something else is Anadi again. Nobody is beginning a misunderstanding or a mistake, because the mistake is something you find in. The individuality is found to be there. See, individuality is not a fact, is not a reality. Fact in the sense, it's not a reality. You appear to be taking yourself to be an individual. There is a transaction, there is a feeling, there is a thought that I am an individual, that's all. There is a thought that I am a subject and I am seeing an object. So there is a one thought which includes that I am a subject and there is an object, I am related to it. This whole thing is a one thought. There is a thought, this much we can say. There is a thinking, there is a thought of individuality, there is a thought of an object, there is a thought of interaction, there is a thought of all these transactions. Because these subject, object and their transactions are not beyond vyavahara, they are not beyond thought. Not beyond thought. It only means that they are only a thought. When you have no thought, they don't exist. The idea is like this. When we say they are only thoughts, that I am an individual and there is a world and I am seeing it, I am interacting with it, all this is a one thought. Within the thought there are various appearances. So when we say all this is only a mithya pratyaya, a misunderstanding, a wrong thought, we only mean that during the thought alone they appear. In the absence of thought they don't exist. If they were not in the form of thought, they would always exist eternally. But we have an experience such as deep sleep and samadhi and so on, where there is no thought and no worldly experience. In the absence of mind, in the absence of thinking, there is no world at all. That means the world itself is in the form of a thought. The entire world is a one thought. So within that there are variations, but all the variations mean only a thought. And this thought is not true to the fact, because the fact means the eternal entity, Atma, consciousness is in one way, and the world which we are seeing about Atma. About Atma, what we think is the world. World is a way of our thought about the existing reality. Existing reality, the reality doesn't exist as the world, but it appears to us as the world. It exists as itself. It exists. How does it exist? It exists as an existence, not as a thinkable thought. Okay, the truth itself, the consciousness or the Atma or Brahma, whatever you call, its very nature is existence. Its very nature is the consciousness, and it cannot be thought of. What cannot be thought of if you entertain a thought? The pure existence which cannot be thought of, you have a thought about it in the form of the world. So therefore, the entire world consisting of subject, object, relationship, interaction, all this is a thought about one who is beyond thought. That is myself, my real self. My real self is an entity which is beyond thought. About that, I have a thought in the form of myself. me, the individual. So the me individual is a thought about me, real me, who is beyond individuality, who is beyond thought. I, the real pure existence. I means we are only imposing the word I. Itself is beyond the word I, beyond the reference of I. So the reference I doesn't reach there. It exists where this reference I doesn't reach, cannot reach. And that pure existence, that is pure me, is taken to be this referable I. What is beyond reference, what is beyond referability, is taken as referable. Okay? My real existence is beyond any reference, either as first person or second person or third person. Neither as you, nor as me, nor as that. So the pure existence can be referred in no way, by no word. That means it is beyond referability. Beyond thought means beyond referability. The truth is self-existing. It is beyond referability. But what I am living at the moment is in this referable field. So in this field, there are many references. One is subject. I refer as myself, me, and you, and that. First person, second person, third person. These three form of references we have. We have these three form of references. So these three references put together is one thought. The one referability. This one referability is only a thought. Why do you say it is thought? Because we have an experience. We have an experience in our life like deep sleep where this referability is set aside. Set aside means doesn't exist. You exist there, no doubt. It's everybody's experience, nobody can deny. I exist, but not as an individual. Or in what else form? I exist in such a way that I cannot be referred by any word, neither as a subject, nor as an object, nor as in between, nor as a third person, first person, second person. I exist. I exist as somebody who can't be referred by any word. So I exist beyond referability, but that reality is mistaken to be as this referable world, referable transactional world of me and the rest. Okay, so this is Adhyasa. Therefore, all our knowing means the knower, known, and the knowing process, the knowing relationship. See, the knower, Jnatru, and Gneya, Pramatru, Prameya, and Pramana, and the knowledge you come to have about an object, all these four, Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, Prama. Prama means Pramiti. All these four are only references alone. This is what he says, Vyavahara. See, the word Vyavahara is only, it is just a way of looking. It is only a reference, a referability. If you set aside the references, there is only one consciousness, there is only one existence, which can't be referred in any of these four ways. It is beyond reference. It can't be referred, but it is the basis of all these references. All these references are about that one pure existence. One pure consciousness alone is referred as you, referred as me, referred as subject, object, relationship, all these things. Therefore, he says, all this is Vyavahara. See, each word has to convey something. Each word should get a sufficient time for contemplation. Each word of Vedanta should get a sufficient time until you get to the root of it. Take time and do leisurely, patiently. You have to contemplate. So that the Nama Rupa, how Nama Rupa is appearance of the reality. It is an appearance from the standpoint of appearance. Again, you note that. The referability is only in the referability. Beyond it, there is no even referability also. Therefore, appearance is also from the standpoint of appearance. Adhyasa is from the standpoint of Adhyasa alone, not from the Swarupa. Swarupa itself is independent, and you find Adhyasa only when you are in Adhyasa. That's a peculiarity. Adhyasa, it is something like dream is a dream only when you are dreaming it. From the standpoint of dream alone, you come to see the dream. When you are not dreaming, you have no dream. You have no dream world. You can't say dream world is at one particular time. There is no time. Then when do you see? You see only when you see. That's all. You find the dream only when you find the dream. That's all. Finding the dream is the only condition where you find the dream. Similarly, waking is the only condition when you have the waking world. Waking world is in the waking condition alone. That means waking world is only when you see the waking world. Other than that, waking world itself doesn't have an existence, exactly like the dream world. Dream state is there only during dream state. Other than the dream state, but you have an experience. You exist without dream state. Dream state is nothing other than you. It is real me alone in the dream state. Appears as a dream state. That means dream state is very much my experience. It's not beyond me, it's not outside me. But I exist beyond the dream state. This is a peculiar thing. Dream state doesn't exist beyond me, apart from me, independent of me. But myself exists beyond the dream state. Because I find myself to be beyond the dream state. In waking state, I am free from dream state. In deep sleep, I am free from dream state. Similarly, in dream state, I am free from waking state. So the waking state is very much within me, but the myself is independent of dream state as well as waking state. State includes entire world. The time, space, object, relationship, everything. The entire world. So similarly, therefore we say pramana prameya vyavahara is a vyavahara adhyasam puraskritya. The entire vyavahara is within adhyasa. It means the vyavahara itself is an adhyasa, is a misunderstanding. Is a misunderstanding, we say. Misunderstanding doesn't mean the vyavahara is wrong. See the note the difference. In vyavahara, supposing you see the pen, you are seeing the pen. We don't say it is wrong. That you are seeing pen is correct. Then what is it when you say misunderstanding? Misunderstanding is not in seeing the pen. Misunderstanding is not seeing this world. You are seeing the world and this experience is not wrong. When we say misunderstanding, we mean it on another level. The entire seeing of the subject, object, the relationship, this whole field is a misunderstanding of the absolute truth. So we are talking at an another level. So these things, Vyavaharika Drishti and Paramarthika Drishti, these two Drishtis have to be clearly understood, because there is no Vedanta without these two. The very Vedanta means these two. So within the waking state, it's like, see, within the dream state, whatever you see those objects, they were all okay. There are objects, you are seeing them, you are interacting with them, you are understanding them. Within the dream state, you are present in the dream as a person. There are people around you, there are objects, you are interacting, trying to know them, you use them. There are some laws, in the natural laws and social laws, and all that is okay. But dream as a whole, dream state as a whole is not the reality about you. That means you exist independent of the dream state. That's what it means. It is not your nature to be always in dream state. Dream state is appearing within you, but it is not your real you. Real you is something more than dream state, something beyond dream state, is not stuck by dream state, is not stuck to the dream state. So dream state is an appearance of you only during the dream. And that is not your real you. Real you is independent of, beyond and free from dream state. Similarly, real you is independent of the entire waking state, free from the waking state, untouched by the waking state. The state itself can't exist beyond me, outside me, but I exist independent of waking state. Therefore, the entire waking state, if I take that there is a really waking state and the waking world, then that is a misunderstanding about me, who is beyond the waking state. What is beyond the waking state is taken to be the waking state. Waking worldly objects and interaction, subject, object and all that. Therefore, the entire state is a misunderstanding of the truth. So the misunderstanding is a teaching, misunderstanding is a teaching prakriya. Itself is not an entity, is not a fact. Okay? When we say that the snake is a misunderstanding, our aim is to point out the rope. Rope is the reality. Telling the snake as a misunderstanding itself is not the goal of understanding, is not the goal of teaching. It is not the aim of the teaching. Explaining snake as a misunderstanding is a means of teaching, is a method of teaching, is a prakriya to help you to understand that the rope alone is. So the culmination of understanding, the end point of understanding is rope alone is. Rope alone is the reality. Then what is that you are talking about? That the dream is also the dream is unreal. Here in this instance, in this illustration, just a minute. In this illustration, snake is unreal, is only a prakriya, is a method of teaching. It is not the culmination of teaching. It is not the end point of understanding. It is the process of contemplation. It is in the process of explanation. It is still a part of explanation. Then what is the result of the explanation? That the rope alone is. So when we say the whole world is a misunderstanding, say then why misunderstanding? See, start putting a question. See, misunderstanding is not the end of the teaching, is not the culmination of the teaching, is not the aim of the teaching. It is the form of the teaching which needs to be understood. When we say that the entire world is, entire vyavahara is a misunderstanding, the end point is seeing that the consciousness alone is, the Brahman alone is the truth. So that is the end, and what is taught in between is a part of explanation. We take a part of explanation as a reality, as an end point, and question why misunderstanding. See, to help you to understand the rope, say what you are seeing is a misperception. The snake which you are seeing is a misperception. It is not the reality. So the misperception in the form of the snake is only a part of explanation. It is not the end of explanation. It is a part of explanation whose understanding becomes complete when you see that it is only a rope and there is no such thing called snake. There is no such thing called snake, there is only rope. When you understand that there is only rope, my explanation is complete and your understanding of my explanation becomes complete. When I am telling that snake is a misunderstanding, it is still in the process of explanation, and at that stage alone you question, why snake? Why snake is a misunderstanding? Why there should be a misunderstanding at all? Now you put the question. That means you are taking the explanation itself as the reality and putting a question. Okay. Therefore, the explanation of a snake, that snake is unreal, snake is mithya, is still conveying. It is a way of presenting, it is a way of teaching. But what does that imply? That snake is mithya, snake is a misunderstanding, is an explanation. This explanation is completely understood when you understand that there is only rope and there is no snake. There is only rope. What you called snake, what you thought of it as a snake is nothing but rope alone. In understanding the rope, the explanation is complete. The explanation culminates in that. Therefore, Prakriya has a Tatparya. Okay. So, the snake is false and the reality is a rope is an explanation, is a way of teaching. So, way of teaching has got a message, a message to give. Now, go to that message. So, without taking the implication of the message, implication or the message of the explanation, we have to go to the message or the implication of the explanation. Explanation has something to convey, has some ultimate idea to convey. Now, this explanation culminates in that message, in that implication. Now, he doesn't go to the implication, doesn't look at the message, holds on to the explanation and questions the explanation why there should be a misunderstanding at all. Oh. See how there is a misunderstanding even in listening. Therefore, when we say Adhyasa, we are not trying to prove that there is Adhyasa. Adhyasa itself is not the aim of teaching. Adhyasa itself is not the aim of teaching. It is not trying to prove there is something Adhyasa and all like that. Adhyasa is a form of a teaching whose implication is to say that there is only Brahman. It's not trying to prove, trying to establish Adhyasa, trying to establish a Mithya and all that. Okay. Ajnanam, Jnanam, teaching, Guru, Shishya. These are all tools of teaching. They are all part of teaching, Prakriya of the teaching. They are not the aim of teaching. Okay. All these things have an ultimate message. The message is there is one Brahman. Okay. So, all this explanation, when I am giving an explanation, see what does it imply? What is the message it is trying to convey? So, look at the message. Pay attention to the message of the Prakriya, the message of the explanation. If you pay attention to the message, after going to the message, the explanation becomes complete. Once you get the message, the explanation gets a drop off. In the message, in the culmination of the message, the whole teaching method, the explanations, ideas, words and all that also gets erased. Because in the culmination of understanding, the method of teaching, the communication, all that ends there. Now, instead of receiving the message of the explanation, at the stage of explanation alone, he questions it and refuses to see the message, refuses to see the implication of the message. When I say snake is an error, is a misunderstanding, my aim is to point out the rope. My aim is to turn your attention to the rope. Once you turn your attention to the rope, my explanation about the snake ceases. Now there is no snake. Now there is no misunderstanding even. You see the rope. In seeing the rope, everything ends. Now, after seeing the rope, now where is the snake? Where is the snake? I didn't say anything. But you told the snake is Mithya and all that. See, I used that snake is Mithya, misunderstanding, error and all that to help you to come to the rope. But once you reach the rope, where is the question of snake now? And he says, he doesn't go to the rope. When I told that snake is a false appearance, he holds on to the appearance and he says, why snake is appearance? It is a false. Why is it a false? That means he is making the explanation itself is a reality and holding on and arguing it. Okay. So what the teaching aims at, he ignores it. He takes the teaching in his own way, a wrong way. Then he is responsible for that misunderstanding, because the teaching doesn't intend to teach in that way. It is not the aim. If you take the meaning in your own way, then you are responsible and we can't answer that. Okay, if a person misunderstands, teacher understands that he is misunderstanding. If he is sincere, okay, you have misunderstood here, and then a teacher takes the responsibility to correct his misunderstanding. But if he asserts that this is my right, that yes, this is my right understanding, and you challenge, you are telling me wrongly, then it is your responsibility, your problem. You misunderstand and you stubbornly hold on to it and you accuse teacher, and all that is your problem. Then what can I do? If you want to be stubbornly in your misunderstanding, I can't help. If you want to understand, we can help you. But if you want to be stubbornly in your misunderstanding, if you are adamant in your misunderstanding, then remain there. Then you alone give explanation. They say all your Vedanta is wrong and all that doesn't convince me. Then it's okay. If you don't want to learn, nobody can help you on the earth. Even God cannot help you. If you refuse to understand, you want to remain in your own one angle of looking, or one standpoint. Hold on to one fixed thought. Our purpose is to help you to come out of the thought position where you stand. See, your mind is in one thought. A purpose of teaching is not to work within the thought alone, to help you to move out of that thought position. Okay? You move out of that thought position, then that thought position which existed before, it becomes a matter of past. Okay? The thought position in which you are now, you are stuck with it. And remaining at that thought position, you are talking to us, you are arguing, you are looking at the world and relating to the world and all that. And any amount of my explanation won't help you, won't convince you, it will be of no use to you. And so you just pay attention to the teaching. It helps you to move away from the position where you stand. Give up that standpoint, come out, go out away from it. And the standpoint which you give up itself is the problem. You lost it. The problem is lost. The problem is gone. Because the standpoint where you are standing itself is a problem for you. So you move out of that standpoint, you move away from the thought position, you give it up. No, it is something like you remain in dream. You remain in dream and you complain that, oh, tiger is after me, there is something, snakes are after me, I am worried, here are thorns, here is the stone, here is the something else, I am on the mountain and I can't move, but the tiger is running after me. If I move this side, I have to jump down. If I jump down, I'll die. Then if I can't go to the front because there is a tiger, what can I do? See, you are in such a position, you can't run away, you can't go elsewhere, you can't do anything. We are telling you, you come out of the very dream state. Now you will not have any question. That person wants to continue in dream and then put a question. All your answers, he takes all his answers to remain in the dream and then again question the very answer. Okay? He questions the very answer. He challenges the very answer by remaining in the same problematic situation. Remains in the problematic situation and questions your answer. So the purpose of answering is not to retain you in dream and trying to convince you. By retaining you in dream, no explanation can convince you, because the problem is the very dream. The problem is the very dream state. So retaining you in the dream state, no amount of explanation can convince you. No amount of explanation, no sadhanas, nothing can solve your problem. So you move away from the dream state. That means you stand as somebody where you have a one state, you have a one aspect, you have a one experience in you. I don't know what word to use it, aspect or experience or whatever it is. So you have a one experience, one aspect, one reality in you, in real you. There at that level you have no dream at all. You are not a dreamer and you have no dream state for you. You stand as somebody who is beyond the dream state. You are not a dreamer nor you have a dream state for you, and that is your real you. You are that where you are no more a dreamer, you are not connected to the dream state. Okay? So that real you I am pointing out. My purpose of pointing out is that you are a dreamer, a dreaming person. This dreaming person is a thought. So you leave this dreaming state, you leave this dreaming thought and stay as somebody who is beyond this dreaming person, state of dreaming person. Okay, so moving away from the thought position, that understand how this thought is only adhyastam in me, is imposed on you, it's not real you. In your real you are not a dreaming person. The dreaming person is an imposition, is a wrong thought upon you. So when we say wrong thought, the purpose is it is making a suggestion. When I say the entire dream person, your dream person, your dream individuality and dream experience, the dream world is not real you. No, you keep on arguing based upon this statement. This doesn't solve your problem, because my purpose is not that. So when I say this dream individuality, you just pay attention. Pay attention to you, real you. You are that existence. You are that consciousness in you, in real you. This individuality, this dreaming person doesn't exist. You are totally independent. You are free from all this. So our purpose of teaching is to point out your purpose of teaching is to help you to turn your attention to your real existence, at which point you are no more a dream individual. You are not a dream individual, that's all. There is nothing going and coming and changing and all. There is another angle of looking at you. There is a deeper level of you where in your real you, this dream world, dream state, dream individuality doesn't exist at all. That's all. This is what it's trying to point out. Similarly, this waking individual, waking object, waking world, waking interaction, all this is an imposition upon real you. A real you is something where you stand without this entire waking state, entire waking world. That real you is, where is that? It is you only. Real you is real you, that's all. So this person who is listening, who is talking, who is arguing is a part of this waking world alone, waking state alone. Is a part of jiva, is a part of samsari, is a part of adhyasa, is a part of misunderstanding. So that listener, the one who is arguing, one who is questioning, all this, that individuality itself is mithya, is wrong understanding. When I say wrong understanding, I am just expecting you to pay attention that this thought of you as an individuality is not part of real you. In real you is free from this individual you. Okay, this is what the purpose of entire teaching is. So the very adhyasa, the idea of adhyasa is this. So if this, that's why the teaching also, it has to be rightly understood. There is a way of teaching, and it has to be patiently, rightly understood. That's why it's a communication is a unique one. It's unlike any other subject, any other speaker and listener. Any other speaker, I tell you, including Karma Kanda. It's a Vedantic teaching. It's a very peculiar thing, where it's just unique. It's nowhere else you find this kind of communication where the listener, speaker, they are just tentatively present there. And the purpose of the entire listening, the process of listening, listener, speaker, all these are transcended, and you exist in that thing, neither the speaker nor the listener. There is only one you, which is absolute you, the basis of this entire process of listening. The listener, speaker, and the teaching and listening, all this is swallowed up by that entity, you, the real entity, which is all pervasive, pure consciousness, pure existence. Therefore, it's just paying attention. If you stubbornly hold on to the position of your listenership, that individuality. So the individuality, being an individual, being a listener, is a position itself, is a wrong position, we are telling. The stand itself is a wrong stand. That's what we mean when we say it is adhyasa. When we say it is adhyasa, when we say it is misunderstanding, we mean the very standpoint you are in, the individuality you are in, the listener, the individual seeker, the sadhaka, whatever you call him, that very individuality itself is not real you. It is a wrong standpoint you are in. You drop the standpoint, you cease to be the very person who is in this standpoint, and you are totally a different thing. That different you doesn't have this individual standpoint, therefore you are no more an individual, you are the one, that pure existence, pure consciousness. Okay. So here it is shifting you from the standpoint of individuality, and see how this individuality is a part of you. Part of you means is within you, and you are much more than that. You are a larger entity. You, the real you, is a larger existence in which this present listener you is a small one. It is a false one, is a wrong standpoint, is a false standpoint. In real you, which is pure existence, that real existence neither comes nor goes, it is eternal. And this individual is only from a standpoint of individuality. Individuality is only in the standpoint of individuality. It's not eternal you, it is not real you. Okay, therefore, move away from that standpoint of individuality. Move away is not an action. Okay, I'm not asking you to think or imagine or anything. If you think, if you imagine, then again it is the same individuality is imagining. See, we are by nature imaginers. Human being by nature imagination. Willing imagining. Okay, willing imagining. This willing imagining is the biggest obstacle for Vedanta. Okay, that's why Vedanta listening is, in fact, people don't listen at all. Though come to attend classes and they are listening, they say they don't listen at all. Because in the name of listening, we imagine a lot. We imagine. See, it is not an imagination. It is just watching, observing, in which the thing is already there. It comes to your attention. You are not imagining. Okay? The teaching, it points out. When you just pay attention, you only pay attention. You don't imagine. This imagination habit has to be suspended. Suspended means has to be what to say that? The habit of imagining has to melt away, has to get liquidated. That's what real Vairagyam is. Real Vairagyam, real Vedantic Yogyata. The Yogyata means the fitness for Vedanta is this imaginary habit of mind should go away. That is Upasaka mind. That is a worldly mind. That is Samsari mind. So, it is an imaginary mind, willing mind, thinking mind. More and more you listen, more and more you keep on trying to imagine. Where does that imagine comes into picture? It is because of that nature of imagination that you conceive ideas. Every sentence you listen in Vedanta, you start conceiving. You start imagining an idea of each sentence taught. This is the biggest obstacle in Vedanta. The purpose of Vedanta is to drop this, to liquidate this, to remove this. So each sentence, mind starts imagining an idea, a concept of it. There is no concept, there is no imagination. But you can't live. Human mind cannot remain without imagining. That's how the human nature is. And the purpose of entire teaching is that it is conceiving each sentence. Each sentence is pointing out. You are conceiving instead of paying attention. See the difference? Each sentence is pointing out. Pointing out means what? You have to imagine? No. What is it pointing out? You expect me to imagine the idea which you are pointing out, which you are trying to explain? No. It's not pointing at an idea. It's just expecting you to pay attention. Be attentive. Pay. Just to pay attention and remain. That's all. Attentiveness. Awareful attentive. That's all. Awarefully attentive. Nothing. Attention should not be a big tension. It should be just a relaxed attentiveness. And the Shruti and the teaching points out. Where it points out to pay attention, the very listener, the very individuality is a position. Standing as an individual, standing as a listener, you are listening. This very listenership should melt away. The very listenership, the Shrotrutvam, the individuality, the Sadakatvam melts away in your consciousness. When you pay attention, you are consciousness. You are the just consciousness. That consciousness is so much. It is so complete. It is so all-pervasive. It swallows all your listener world and guru, shishya world. Everything it swallows. Swallows in the sense it doesn't exist apart from the consciousness. That's all. In the consciousness, nothing exists apart from it. There is just one whole consciousness. You moved away from that individuality, that listenerhood, listenership. I don't know how that English expression is. Anyway, my English is limited. So that shrotrutvam, that listenership, that listening individuality is an adhyasa. Adhyasa is a way of telling, don't imagine anything. Adhyasa means you imagine something, again each one imagining. This is the biggest problem in understanding the truth. Okay? Because that's why we say lot of vairagyam, indriya nigraha, mano nigraha, self-control, mind should be pure, no desire, no worldly ambitions, interest, because it is the very individuality entertains all ambitions, all ideas, all thoughts, all worldly ambitions are centered on individuality. And the Vedanta is only melting away the very individuality. It liquidates the very individuality. All worldly achievements, even the Pandityam, Vedanta, I am a sannyasi, I am somebody, all that is individuality alone. In deep sleep, there is nobody. You are not even sannyasi nor anybody. You don't exist as an individual. All that is only just a worldly standpoint. Therefore, all this, so all the worldly ambitions, thoughts, that's why Vedanta should not be even a scholarship. It should not be a matter of scholarship. It should not be a matter of pursuing the world, religion, protection and philosophy and all that. All these are again outside the truth. So there should be nothing other than the truth. Therefore, just paying attention. Why do you want to pay attention? No. Paying attention should be so natural. Paying attention should not be an imagination, should not be a matter of a will. It's just a relaxed paying attention. And just Shruti says, the very individuality is adhyasta. Adhyasam puraskritya. Sarve pramana prameya vyavahara. See, the sentence comes and clicks. You are there, the awareful being, awareness, individuality melts away. Because individuality is a thought position, is a wrong thought within the consciousness. Consciousness is not an individual. A thought of individuality is a wrong thought about Sakshi. As a witnessing consciousness is not an individuality. Witnessing consciousness is taken to be an individuality, which is a thought. So this individuality, thought constituting individuality is the real adhyasa, is the obstacle. That is the real problem that has to be removed, that has to be melted away, that has to be falsified. Falsified means you are that in which this individuality is not existing for you. You stand without the individuality, without being a listener. You are consciousness, where you are no more a listener, no more an individual. You are just consciousness. Neither listener nor there is a speaker apart from you. Or you can say all the listener, all the speaker, all the teaching, everything is that alone. That one consciousness alone. Nothing is apart from the consciousness. So this one consciousness swallowing everything is the real okay. Therefore, vyavahara is adhyasa. This is the point. Each sentence means directly Brahma. Now don't go into the sentences, details and bookish understanding. Now this sentence, what does it say? Next paragraph, all the paragraphs, works, sentences, words, you get stuck in them. All that becomes a scholarship alone. Okay, scholarship is good for many people. There are there. It is, we leave it to them. Let them work on that. So if you want to catch it as a concept, then you go into the scholarship. Each sentence is only removing your individuality and keeping you as consciousness. Keeping you means what? Pushing you to remain in consciousness, remain as consciousness. Or pointing out, not pushing you, better say pointing out. It is pointing out in which there is consciousness. That's all. Even the sentence merges away, sentence melts away in that consciousness. Even this listening statement along with the listener, the speaker, along with the speaker, the sentence, the Mahavakya, the sentence, the Mahavakya sentence, the speaker, the listener, all the three merge into one consciousness, because the consciousness is independent. So this happens when you just pay attention. To be able to pay attention itself is a great maturity, great vairagyam. So one doesn't feel proud of anything, doesn't assert the individuality, nor he has got any desire anywhere, anything in the world. All the world is just there. You see how the baby watches. Baby watches without any attachment, any love, any extra attachment. Everything is there just to see them. Neutrally, naturally. Nothing is of special interest. Okay. Even me he doesn't assert. Not even asserting me. Everything just to watchful. The watchfulness, the awarefulness is the real sadhana. All vairagyam, all indriya nigraha, mano nigraha, bhakti, sadhana, everything is meant for this alone. If this state of mind, this maturity comes, it becomes easy to teach Vedanta. In fact, the purpose of Vedanta is only this much. Therefore, pramana prameya vyavaharaha. See, each sentence, you take any sentence, you come to Brahmanala. That's the beauty of Shankaracharya. Sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha adhyasam puraskritya. Sarve pramana prameya. Entire thing, whatever you think of, whatever you can think of and experience, all that is vyavahara. Vyavahara means all that is, you think, therefore it is. You think that it is there. It's only a thought. It's only a thought. Okay. So, laukikaha vaidikascha pramata pramanam prameyam we were discussing. I think long before we gave a gap of 1 or 2 weeks. So, I think we have come to that point and it is not complete. We will discuss in the next class. Now it is already 12:05. I started little late today. So 12:05. We will continue in the next class anyway. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat.